Oh, that's absolutely love, man. And welcome to the barbershop, man. We just have fun and stuff. And man, you from LA, dog. I got my Crenshaw hoodie on, man. You from LA. You went to
Yes,
Westchester
yes,
High School, right?
sir. Yeah, went to Westchester High School, grew up in Inglewood.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to the city of Inglewood, man.
Yeah. Who was on your team at Westchester?
Oh man, we were pretty loaded, man. That was
You got-
a golden era of Westchester basketball. I played with Trevor Ariza, which is
Oh,
the
Trey,
most notable name,
Bobby.
that most people know. He was 2 years behind me, and then we also had Bobby Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Bobby Brown. What your ones look like.
Uh-huh.
Um, Keith Everidge played at Cal State Northridge. Ashanti Cook and Brandon Bowman both went to Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Cutley, I think he's an all-time leading scorer at Cal State Fullerton. He was there. Brandon Heath, who's the all-time
Right.
leading scorer at San Diego State.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we were loaded, man. It was just a special time.
What was it? Because I actually went to Venice, but I graduated 95. So
Okay.
I played against Jason Hart, who I was better than.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
tell
Shout
everybody
out to Jay Hart.
Inglewood. And
Yes, sir.
I played against the Walker brothers, Ben and Danny. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Danny Walker, man.
Yeah, Danny.
Westchester legend, man.
Yeah, Westchester. He was a dick.
Even though he finished at Fremont, but it's all good. We won't
Yeah.
hold it against him.
He was a hell of a man. And
Yeah.
what's Westchester basketball like, man? It seemed like y'all was like the darlings, man. Y'all was a Nike school, right?
Yeah, we were a Nike school. For me, I think I like to always pay homage to those who kind of paved the way, because as we know, Crenshaw dominated the city for so many years, and people don't talk about teams and programs like Fremont and Manual. They talk about them, but not enough. They had great years, and you know. The city was just so special during that time. So as I was approaching the high school years, Westchester finally got over the hump, that Crenshaw hump. And they had a great group in Tony Bland and
Tony Blunt.
Brandon Granville, David Blue, who ended up being state player of the year that year, and Chris Osborne. They just had a really talented team. C.J. Williams, Albert Miller. I mean, they were just really talented, and they finally got over the hump. So, for me, I was like, looking at Westchester, like, yeah, I want to keep that thing going,
Right, right.
and I decided to go there. And I think my group, my error was when AAU started to really blow up in terms of the shoe companies,
Sure.
and they started going earlier in terms of like the groups they were dealing with. Like so, my AAU team, Top Prospects, we were sponsored by Nike in sixth grade.
Mhm.
So for us, we had a really good program, and a lot of the kids in the program gravitated towards Westchester. You
Mm.
know, just like you had some other good programs like Southern California All Stars, they had a lot of guys gravitate to Dominguez and gravitate to Modern Day. So it began this whole thing, and we kind of my program I came from kind of gravitated towards Westchester. So that's why a lot of those guys you saw that I named that went there, they came out of that program. And I mean, we didn't know, we would. I mean, we knew we would be successful,
Mhm.
but we didn't know how it would blow up like that. And then it just started a crazy run for Westchester. And even after I left, it kept going.
Dang.
So they had a really good run. I always say my era had that run, and like I talked about before, Crenshaw had a great run. We had a great run. Now the landscape of high school basketball is different. Now the city's not it's not
Yeah.
strong like it was. So now, I don't know much, but I kind of follow loosely. Now I'm hearing about the private schools like Sierra Canyon. They're having a run. I think I
Mhm.
believe so. I don't know the exacts, but it seems like it anyway.
Right, right. And y'all took David Blumenthal from my high school, Venice High School.
Venice, yeah, yeah.
I just want to
Well,
say that.
but the story. He started at Westchester, then left and went to Venice and came back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
that. I didn't know that. But I
yeah,
know I would go
yeah,
back to games, and I thought David Blumenthal had everything. Like I thought
yeah.
could post you up, play the wing a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit, shoot the three a little bit, especially in high school because he was so much
yeah,
taller than this
yeah,
person that guarded.
yeah,
Man, he was just
yeah.
special
Yeah,
talent.
shout out to Dave Blue, man. He was a really good talent. People forget on that very very first Westchester State title team,
Mhm.
he was State Player of the Year.
Wow.
He was State Player of the Year.
Wow. Yeah.
He had an incredible season. I mean,
Mhm.
I think obviously Tony Bland was the heart and soul, but I think getting David to go over there that put Westchester over the top. You know.
Yeah, because Tony Bland ended up going to Syracuse, correct? To start off, didn't
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Tony Bland, man.
Were you on that team that played LeBron?
Oh, I'm so glad I wasn't. I'm so glad I wasn't, man. I was not on that team, so
Uh-huh.
I was like a couple of years removed, but very much so connected to the program.
Mhm.
So I remember that game like it was yesterday. It was so much media hype
Right,
behind it,
right, right,
and it was just unbelievable what he did.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, so I'm happy I wasn't a part of that, but
Uh-huh.
you know
What
it's all
what's
good.
special about Ed Azam? I've only had passive conversations with him. I've never really sat down with him and had a conversation. Why is he so special and able to mold such great basketball players?
Well, I think Coach Sam he's very humble.
Mm,
Um, what people don't realize, Westchester basketball came from humble beginnings. Coach Zan, when he took the job in the late '70s, there was no tradition. Nobody was coming to Westchester to be a part of this dominant program. So he went through some very rough years.
sure.
But you talk to players throughout the generations of Westchester basketball, and Coach has always remained consistent. In who he is, always humble. He's not into the glitz and glamour.
Mhm.
He's not about himself. He's about team and he's about winning. And you think about Coach in terms of he's coached all these guys that's going on to play Division I basketball. And you look at our backgrounds. We're black kids from the inner city, and he's a white coach,
Mhm.
coaching us. And I would probably say 90, 98, 99% of his players have been black. And there was never any disconnection with him. The way he treated us, it was kind of like how a father would treat you.
Mhm.
He always, and this is outside of basketball. I mean,
Wow.
he had high expectations for us. I knew when I was in his program, I had to go to class. I couldn't be goofing off and doing stuff that I had no business in. It would check you in a minute.
Mm,
So, and I think Coach Zell was good because he saw greatness in you, even if you didn't see it in yourself.
mm.
So uh, he was very monumental in my life in terms of my mentality every day. Even I was able to take certain lessons that I learned playing at Westchester and apply them to life.
Right.
Go after my goals. Uh, who cares if you're not the first choice, or who cares if you are picked over? Still go after what you want to attain. Who cares?
Right.
Because if you want it, you can get it.
Right.
And that was our mentality as, as basketball players. And that spilled over for me into my life,
Right.
so.
At what point did you realize that you wanted to be a coach?
You know what? My first thought of it is, so when I left Westchester, I signed with the University of New Mexico, and I
Right.
played 2 years there.
Who
So,
was the coach there? Who was the coach at New Mexico?
uh, Fran Fraschilla, he's a ESPN analyst,
Oh, Fran
college
Facility.
basketball.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
uh, I ended up transferring to University of Nevada. Fran was let go, and basketball slowed down for me when I transferred, and I sat out that year, and I had to actually go to the game and sit there and watch.
Mm.
And I'm a big team player. I never really been about myself. I'm all about winning. So I knew it's like, okay, Chad, I cannot play in these games. How can I affect winning? Well, I can go to practice every day and push these guys on the scout team. And when we're in the games, just be that voice of honesty, that voice of influence, that enthusiastic nature and spirit.
Sure.
So I started to just do that every game. And, you know, uh, I played my 2 years, and every now and again I would have my head coach and or like assistant coach. They would say, "Hey, you ever thought about coaching?"
Mm.
and I was still in player mode, so I'm like, "Coach, man, get the f out of here! Like, what are
Uh-huh.
you talking about?
Sure.
Coaching?"
Uh-huh.
And I would kind of laugh, and then I graduated, and I'll hear from my coaches every blue moon, whether it be a text or quick, call or whatever, and they say, "Hey, don't forget about coaching. You be a good coach. You got a good presence."
Wow.
And over time, it started to just settle with me, like, well, maybe basketball has done so much for me. Maybe I should stay in this thing, you
Mhm.
know. So one day I said, you know what, let me give it a try. So
Mm.
I gave it a try, and I started off as a grad assistant at the University of Wyoming. I worked in college for about, I think, 6 or 7 seasons, something like that, as a grad assistant and special assistant to the head coach, my alma mater, and then an assistant at Southern Utah University. And I've been at it ever since, and got a great opportunity to come back home and
Mhm.
work with the LA Clippers. And now I'm in my 5th season with the Clippers, and I'm enjoying it. I don't call what I do a job. It's definitely a lifestyle.
How when you got the call for the interview, what's the process in the preparation? Because you obviously well prepared because you coached at a few colleges, but when you get the call to interview for the NBA, what's the preparation like when you got to walk into the Clippers office?
Well, the preparation is
Got
your experience as a player, and then meshing that with your experience as a coach. And the NBA is it's not what a lot what a lot of people think it is. It's a lot of like, okay, it's not like, hey, you go on an interview, you got on your tie, you sit there, you answer these questions.
Mhm.
No, you go to the floor and you get to work, and they see how you work and how you interact with players, and you begin to shed light on your knowledge of the game. So the NBA is about sweat equity. You
Right.
get on the, like, being a coach in the NBA. It's not, coaching is different, man. It's not like the fat coach that stands there and yells. No, coaches are in drills. Coaches are bumping with these players, because these are the best athletes in the world, and it means a whole lot with if you're on the court with them, sweating and grinding with them. It buys you a whole lot of credibility.
Right.